Hello, you beautiful souls. How about a little more talk about that darn matrix? I really realize that that is a hot topic, and I don't want it to get too hot. It's kind of, we need to put water on the ashes. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But I do notice that there is a lot of, um, yeah, a fascination, fear, anger, outrage, a lot of energy that's going towards that. So I want to say this. I've said it before, but I want to really stress this, that when you fight the matrix, you feed it. Your emotional energy, whether you're fascinated or fixated or terrified or really enraged and you want to talk about it with everyone, with a lot of emotion behind it. We need to understand that the emotion that we fight the matrix with, it's kind of keeping that chicken that had its head cut off. It's almost like we keep stuffing food down the throat, so it's going to keep running. And we don't want to do that. So if you find yourself fighting the matrix, and I do notice there are some in the comments, it's very obvious that there are people who are like this. I think until we can let go of that, see if you can be really, really present with that part that wants to fight it. Because there will be a lot of upset when I've shared that before, right? When we start realizing what's been going on and what is going on and what's being exposed, of course we get upset. I mean, it's so insane what's being revealed, and it's just starting, right? That we need to let those emotions come up, but do not get stuck in them. Let it come through. But if you can, do it consciously so that you don't feed that darn thing back to life again. I mean, you can't feed it back to life, but you can prolong your own experience of it because it's your food, right? You're feeding it with your emotions. And that's why you will keep having that connection with it. Whereas if somebody is like, ooh, like, wow, look what's happening here. That's insane, but I ain't gonna touch it. I'm just gonna observe it. Then you don't feed your emotions with it. So you can observe it and then you can put your energy on where it belongs, right in here, right here, right at the core of your own divine soul connection, your I am presence. And I also know that most people do not know what that is. And that is something that many of the spiritual people go to spiritual satsangs or discourses or workshops, retreats, to start experiencing and start waking up to that I am presence. That's why, excuse me, that's why they're both important. And I know I'm repeating myself, but there might be new people coming in who haven't heard it before. And I cannot stress how important it is that we bring our attention, that we feed our attention to what we want, not to what we don't want. Now, I know there is a lot of we it's like you get a lot out of feeding it and being enraged and surprised and overwhelmed by it. There is also something in us that is being fed by that in a way that we actually like. It's kind of like a sense of victory or empowerment, right? Anger and rage that can give us a way to feel empowered, like we won or something. That darn thing is dead. So by all means, celebrate it, but don't get stuck in that. That's really what is most important. That we just let that energy be liberated, be freed, because it has to. Just think about how many lifetimes we have been stuck and identified in a matrix that has nothing to do with reality. It is separate from reality. That's why we have a separate sense of self. Separate from what? Separate from our divine essence, our soul, our I am presence. The invitation is to come back here and let that take care of the mess. Not that we're just going to sit in front of the TV, and drinking beer or whatever we do and not do anything, because then you're still part of the matrix, which is unconscious and not engaged with this. We have to put our attention back to who we are. And I think letting ourselves release that energy that has been building up for so long, and now it's finally can start releasing when we see that the old regime, the old paradigm is dying. Yeah, let's have a party by all means. Let's have a great party. And then let's keep going and doing what we really want. I don't know if this resonates with people, and feel free to put it in the comments. I'm just trying to feel into why wouldn't we want that? Because we all want a new world, right? We want that world that is based on integrity and love and community and ease and grace, where things just flow naturally, just like a river flow. It just flows. That is how the divine flows in and as and through us. But we keep putting boulders in the river, and then we get stuck on that boulder. I mean, the water is still flowing fine, it just flows around it, but we are stuck here and we're not getting to experience the flow of our divine essence, our divine uh, fullness, allness. So if there's anything that would keep us there, and again, I'm just going through my own, to see what that may be, because as I shared a video not too long ago, I have also a little bit of a tendency to watch too much of what's being exposed. I do want to stay connected. I do want to know what's going on. It just feels right to um, to not put my head in the sand, but to stay attuned to what's happening in the world. And then part of me is celebrating as I see that the new is basically coming in so strongly that the old cannot hold itself up anymore. It's a very different frequency. So we need to raise to that frequency that's coming in. And of course, because we have been living in that lower frequency for so long, there is a familiarity with that, right? It's almost like it's all that we know. We don't really know yet that we can live in a much more expanded way and be open vessels for that energy to come in and let it fill ourselves, and then just move through and out and beyond out. It's not really something we have to do or can do, but we can do this thing here, and that is to choose to not get lost in the dying matrix. Remember, we have put it to sleep, not that we have, but I would say the energy that we are, and that new frequency that so many of us have been really meditating on and opening up to and focusing on, that's coming through. And it's not because we are doing it, we are just making ourselves available for that. It knows what to do. I don't know what to do with this light, but I know it's here, and I know that this is what I want. That's about as far as I can go. And then when I'm in that, with that, feeling it, sitting in it, then I sense something is happening, but it's not me doing it. I'm just opening up for that to do what it knows how to do. And so that light that I let out by just sitting here in it or as it, it's like this starts going out. And that light that we are, when we let ourselves be it consciously, that does break up the darkness. It doesn't break it up, but it looks like it's being broken up, right? To our senses, it looks like it's being broken up. It's falling apart. Everything is coming to the surface. A lot of things are being exposed. So just by us being that, it just dissolves. It's like the light goes into the darkness, and the darkness is just not even there. Now there's more light there, and now we can start witnessing how does this light show up in our lives. So that's where the witnessing comes in, and the witnessing is an internal process too. It's like, oh yeah, and then with that we get inspirations, we get insights, we may hear the still small voice, we may just feel an urge to call somebody or to go somewhere or to cancel something. But it's coming from this much deeper place because now we are beginning to live from within, and that will dissolve the remnants of the matrix. They are low frequency. Low frequency cannot survive in high frequency. It's just how it works. And so we need to become that higher frequency ourselves by allowing it to come in, fill us, let the parts of us that are still low frequency, those are the ones that are still grasping onto the matrix. So we just allow that higher frequency to just dissolve all that in us, so we're not feeding the old paradigm anymore. And we're choosing, we have choice now. We have the ability to choose in a way that we didn't have, even a year, 5, 10 years ago. It's so much more available now. And so I would say, let's do that. Let's make use of that. And let's stop fighting the matrix in whatever way you might do that, if you are. So you're not feeding it. But now let's start following the inner flow so we feed it with our presence. It's almost like the flow is here, and now we're little drops, we're just dropping into the flow. So we just merge with it, we become one with it, and then we're just flowing along with something that is already happening anyway. I hope that helps. Maybe it helps me to not feel the need to clarify it, because it's been very big in me the last few days, that to really make sure that you do not get lost in the dissolution of what's happening out there, to the best of your ability. Do engage if you need to and where it feels right. Do it in a way, if you can, where you bring your presence to it, you bring your light to it. But if you are just fighting it and arguing with it and being upset about it and, saying nasty things about it, okay, do that. Give yourself 5 minutes, an hour a day, and just do it. Let it out. Let that energy move, because it has to. Don't suppress it. Don't bypass it, but don't get lost in it. All right? Have a beautiful day.